And this is Gavel to Gavel, WCBWTV. Good evening once again. I'm Dick Harmon. Welcome to our second meeting of the month of March. And we have 29 items on the agenda tonight. 23 consent, 2 appointments, 4 regular. There's going to be some expedited papers coming up later, but we'll go through the agenda as we have it right now. And so let's get started on what's happening tonight and what's not happening tonight, because a lot will not be happening. Let's go to item number 1 first. Ordinance 2012-72. And this conditionally rezones properties 3320 Rear Trailer Drive, etc., from their current zoning districts, R1 single-family residential, R4 single-family residential or conditional, to R5 single-family residential conditional. That's going to be continued until our second meeting in April, so April 22nd. Item number 2, Ordinance 2012-212. This is for all-way stop signs and flashing red lights at North Nansemond Street and Kensington Avenue, and that's going to be continued until the 22nd of April. Item 3, Ordinance 2012-232, and this is making it unlawful for any person to attach a bike, motorcycle, or moped to a city-owned tree, etc. That's going to be continued until the 8th of April. Item number 4, putting up all-way stop signs at North Shepherd Street and Stewart Avenue, that has been withdrawn. Item 5, Ordinance number 2013-12. This concerns parking violations and penalties. This is the one where you must be 12 inches from the curb. That one is going to be amended and continued tonight. They're making the amendment to 18 inches instead of 12 inches, so that will be amended and then voted on at our next meeting on the 8th of April. Item 6, 2013-22, the ordinance. This concerns disposition of revenues that arise from the lease or other use of former school properties for the purpose of providing that those revenues be set aside for the construction of new public school facilities or for the operation of the school board. That's going to be going back to land use and then coming back for a vote on the 22nd of April. Item 7, Ordinance 2013-25. This transfers and appropriates $70,362 from the Raven Street Crime Control Kinfolk Project line item for the purpose, and this is actually for the purpose of making a grant to the Richmond Redevelopment Housing to provide community improvement projects in the Raven Street community. That stays on consent. Item 8, Ordinance 2013-33. This concerns permitted principal and accessory uses in the M1 Light Industrial District. This is for permitting certain breweries and distilleries. That stays on consent. Item 9, Ordinance 2013-34. This accepts $20,000 from the Department of Social Services for the purpose of implementing the Strengthening Families Innovators for Success Council pilot program to promote parenting education for fathers. That stays on consent. Item 10, Ordinance 2013-35. This concerns the due date of taxes for tangible personal property. We'll be moving it from May 1st to June 5th. That stays on consent. Item 11, Ordinance 2013-36. This concerns fees for the use of the city dock, and that stays on consent agenda. Item 12, Ordinance 2013-37. This transfers $54,638 from the non-departmental Raven Street Crime Control Kinfolk Project line to the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities for the purpose of operating a Cannon Creek Greenway project. That stays on consent. Item 13, Ordinance 2013-38. This authorizes accepting funds of $75,000 from Richmond Redevelopment Housing and to appropriate the increase to special fund budget for the purpose of supporting the city's workforce pipeline program to provide training and employment opportunities for city residents. That stays on the consent. Item 14, Ordinance 2013-39. This authorizes the CAO to execute a contract for loan guarantee assistance. It's all relating to the city's receipt of up to $9.8 million in Section 108 Loan Fund programs for the purpose of capitalizing a business loan pool. That will be continued till the 22nd of April. 15, Ordinance 2013-40 prohibits the inclusion of questions pertaining to an applicant's criminal conviction history on initial applications for city employment. That stays on consent. Item 16, Ordinance 2013-41. This concerns the Urban Forestry Commission, amending the responsibilities and duties of the Commission to include the requirement that the Commission provide advice and recommendation to the City Planning Commission on matters related to trees affected or that may be potentially affected by construction of any street, square, park, or other public ground or building use. That's being continued for 4 weeks. Item 17, Ordinance 2013-43. This accepts $34,782.50 from the Department of Health, State Department of Health, and transfers matching funds from the general fund budget for a fire administration program. And this is to provide funding for emergency medical equipment, computer hardware and software, and training aids to provide emergency medical services to the City of Richmond residents and visitors. That stays on consent. Item 18, Resolution 2013-R75. This is determining if a zoning classification for such properties like B3 General District is consistent with objectives to revitalize the commercial corridors. That stays on consent. Item 19 is an expenditure in the amount of $2,776 from general funds for the Department of Information Technology printing the 4th District newsletter. Item 20, this approves the expenditure for the mailing of the newsletter to the 9th District residents. And then we get to item 21, an expenditure in the amount of $250 from the Central District funds for 6th District to make a donation to the Storefront for Community Design to support tree well planting along Broad Street, and that stays on consent. Item 22, Resolution 2013-R82, and this sets the rate of personal property relief for qualifying vehicles for the 2013 tax year. Now, what it looks like right now is if your car is worth less than $1,000, you don't owe any personal property tax. If it's worth between $1,000 and $20,000, there is personal property tax, but you will have a relief of 58%. That's as it stands right now. If the car is worth more than $20,000, you will have relief for up to $20,000. Then you pay the full assessment after $20,000. That stays on consent. Item 23 is public utility revenue funding bonds, up to $80 million. And that is authorizing the issuance of taxable bonds and public utility revenue refunding bonds. That stays on consent agenda. Appointments and reappointments. Okay, Pauline Heim is member of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Advisory Board. That will stay on the appointments. And then Lana Pennington, member of the Career and Technical Education Commission. That is going to be continued until our next meeting. On the regular agenda, item 26, Ordinance 2012-4. This is ensuring funding for the 1% for the art program. That's going to be continued till the 22nd of April. Item 27, Ordinance 2012-29, the special use at 122 Tempsford Lane. That's continued again for 4 weeks. Item 28, this is establishing a policy that patrons, whether the mayor or ward members of the council, would result in the reduction. This is the one where if you're going to take money out, you got to make sure you can find a place to bring money back in. So if you come up with some kind of a reduction in an existing revenue source, you got to find a way to balance that out. That's going over to the consent agenda. And then item 29, this is to reverse the decision of Carr prohibiting the certificate of appropriateness for the vinyl replacement windows at 2916 Monument Avenue. That will be continued till our next meeting. Okay, now where does that put us? We started out with 29 items. Consent agenda had 23 items. 6 are continued. 1 is being amended and continued. 1's being withdrawn. But 1's being moved from regular agenda to consent, so we'll have 16 items on consent agenda. Regular agenda, 3 items continued, 1 moved to consent. There'll be no items on regular agenda. Appointments, we had 2. 1 has been continued, so we'll just have 1. So right now we're looking at 17 items total, plus we'll have some expedited consideration papers. Now, citizens' comment period. We've got 1 to speak on cold temperature shelters. 1 has not disclosed what their topic is going to be. We have 1 to talk about school transportation, 1 about Shamrock the Block, 1 about poverty in our city, and 1 promoting historic homes. That's our citizens' comment period. Awards and presentations. I've got to be honest, I'm very excited about this. We'll have Richmond Walking Day, Physical Activity Day presentation, a Toastmasters International City Stars Club presentation, Richmond Department of Recreation Facilities Community Dance Theater program. We'll also be recognizing John Marshall High School boys varsity basketball team. And the one I'm particularly proud of is I'm going to get an award tonight. The Richmond Public and Community Service Award, because tonight is my 25th anniversary of being your host here at Gavel to Gavel. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. What's happened in these 25 years? Well, let's see. Rory West was mayor when I started. Since that time, I've seen 53 different people in council seats, been 9 mayors, 4 council presidents. Right around 600 meetings have taken place since I have been here. We've seen budget hearings that lasted 2 days. We've seen budget amendment sessions that ran until 4 o'clock in the morning. We've seen a streamlining of the Richmond City Council way of doing business, where they've had workshop sessions where they are working constantly but not trying to do it all in one night. So the council is working. It may not look sometimes like, you say, well, how come we've only got this or that? Well, that's because they've been behind the scenes working diligently to try and get any possible things resolved so that when they present the paper, it's going to be as concise as it possibly can be. And you still have your right and your privilege to come down and talk for or against any paper that is on the docket at any time. So it's been an interesting 25 years. How many more years? Well, as I said, I want to thank the Free Press for for making me their profile of the week. As I said there, as long as I've got a voice, I hope to still be here. We'll be getting started in just about 5 minutes from now. I'm Dick Harmon. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, if council members will take their seats, it is 6:02. I'd like to begin this council meeting, please. Very good, Madam Clerk. Looks like we have 7 council members in their seats with 2 others in the building. I'd like to go ahead and have this meeting come to order. At this point, I would like to ask everyone to stand for the invocation given by the Reverend Lynn Turner, Associate Minister at First Baptist Church, immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Our loving and gracious God, we pause for just a moment to settle our minds from a very busy day. There are many needs that these men and women need to address tonight, and I pray for them discernment, wisdom, and grace in their deliberations. I pray that you would encourage their hearts and strengthen them beyond their own capabilities. I pray that you would give them a spirit of unity with a common belief that we all love this city and want what is best to move us forward. So God, in this room tonight, offer your guidance, offer your peace, offer your wisdom, and may it be received with open hearts. We pray this prayer trusting that you, O God, hear us when we seek you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please have your seat. Madam Clerk, if you would please provide the Chamber Emergency Evacuation Plan announcement and the Citizen Speakers Guidelines.
Upon activation of the emergency alarm systems, all persons should immediately exit the building. Please use the exit to the left or right front of the council chamber or the east or west stairway outside the rear doors of the chamber. Do not use elevator or escalators. After exiting the building, proceed to the assembly area located in the parking lot bounded by Clay 8th and 9th Streets. Citizens and employees should assist visually and hearing impaired visitors with exiting the building. Citizen Speakers Guideline. Citizens wishing to speak during public hearing and/or citizen comment period generally have 3 minutes to speak. Persons appearing before council are not allowed to campaign for public office, promote business venture, private business venture, use language of a personal nature which insults or demean any person, include comments directed at public officials or staff members that are not related to their official duties, or address or question staff members directly. All questions should be directed to the President of Council. Failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in speakers forfeiting any remaining time and further disciplinary actions as necessary, which could include barring from attending any future meeting of council for the period of 6 months.
Mr. President, for the record, all members of council are in attendance this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this point, may I please have the clerk read the appointments and reappointments on tonight's agenda, including any expedited appointments?
Yes. Let's, you want to handle the expedited papers first, expedited appointments?
Yes, please.
Okay. First, we have resolution number 2013-R84 to appoint William Riley Merchant as a member of the Business Professional and Occupational License Task Force. And we'll handle these all in a group, if that's okay with you.
Yes, and if each person would stand so we can confirm that you're here, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank you. Next, we have resolution number 2013-R85 to appoint Michael C. Hill as a member of the Business Professional and Occupational License Task Force. Next, we have Resolution Number 2013-R86 to appoint Daisy E. Weaver as a member of the Business Professional and Occupational License Task Force. And we have Resolution Number 2013-R88 to appoint Mark K. Flynn as a member of the Business and Professional Occupational License Task Force. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of these 4 papers. Councilor Bilals, will you make that motion?
So moved.
Council is voting on Councilor Bilals' motions for expedited consideration of the resolutions as read. Mr. Bilals? Aye. Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agilasta?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those papers are before you.
Thank you very much. Are there folks that wish, and you all may sit down. Thank you for being willing to serve. Are there those who wish to speak in opposition to any of these appointments? Seeing none. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of any of these appointments? Very well. Bring it back to council for discussion. Seeing none, please call the question, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on the expedited resolutions as read. Mr. Bilals?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby? Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agilasta? Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those papers have been adopted.
Thank you. Congratulations on your appointment. I appreciate your willingness to serve on this task force. If you would please step out, there is a clerk at the back who's going to escort you over to perform the oath of office for you, at which point you can be on your way. Of course, if you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, we'd love to have you. Thank you all again for your service. Madam Clerk?
Yes, moving forward with the other appointments, we have item number 24, which is resolution number 2013-R61 to appoint Pauline N. Himes as a member of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Advisory Board.
Thank you, Ms. Hines.
That is the only appointment that we have for consideration this evening.
All right. Are there those wishing to speak in opposition to this appointment? Are there those wishing to speak in favor of this appointment? Very good. Bring it back to council. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the question.
Council is voting on item number 24, resolution number 2013-R61. Mr. Bilals? Aye. Ms. Graziano? Aye. Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agilasta?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you, Ms. Hines, for your willingness to serve. If you would please step over to the clerk's office for the oath of office. And thank you again for your willingness to volunteer. At this point, may we please have the awards and presentations?
Yes. The first recognition being presented by President Samuels and someone from administration.
I believe Ms. Wicker is here tonight.
Ms. Wicker? Okay. Ms. Jennifer Wicker proclaims April 3rd as Richmond Walking and Physical Activity Day and is being presented to Mark Gordon, Chairman of Richmond Heart Walk. The honorable members of Richmond City Council and the Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones of Richmond hereby proclaim Richmond Walking Physical Activity Day on Wednesday, April 3rd, 2013. Cardiovascular disease, including coronary heart disease and stroke, are the leading cause of death and a leading cause of disability in our nation. The American Heart Association advises that regular physical activity can help reduce cardiovascular disease risk, increase life expectancy, and lower the risk of heart disease and stroke. The American Heart Association recommends that children and adolescents have at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity each day, and adults do at least 150 minutes of moderate intensely physical activities or 75 minutes of vigorous intensely physical activities, or a combination of both each week. The American Heart Association also advocates that regular walking has many benefits and for individuals' overall health, and that brisk walking for at least 30 minutes a day can help lower blood pressure, control weight, and help reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. In confirmation of the support of the health, happiness, and well-being of all Richmond residents, and in support of the American Heart Association's National Walking Day efforts, Richmond City Council and Mayor Dwight C. Jones hereby proclaim Wednesday, April 3rd, 2013 as Richmond Walking Physical Activity Day and encourages all Richmond residents, according to the best of their ability, to participate in walking or physical activities on that day and every day on behalf of their health.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. You know, it's nice when you give a proclamation like this because you realize you're giving a new definition to giving somebody their walking papers. Nothing? All right. So on behalf of the City of Richmond, I'm thrilled to be a part of this. You know, in the city, we're working every day to try to make our streets more complete, not just a venue for automobiles, but for bicyclists with both sharrows and dedicated bike lanes, to make sure that we have sidewalks that are flat, doubling the amount of money we're investing to make sure that you can easily get from point A to point B by walking. The canal walk, the flood wall, James River Park system trails, everything that we're doing to try to encourage physical activity, because we know not only does it make a healthier, happier Richmond constituent, but it also has an incredible impact on the cost of insurance payments and of overall life quality. And so on behalf of Richmond City Council, we congratulate you. Thank you for pushing to have this day for walking and exercise. Ms. Wicker, do you want to add anything from the administration's point of view? Well, thank you again, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, President Samuels, Vice President Robertson, and of course, Mayor Jones. My name is Mark Gordon again, Chair of the Heart Association Heart Walk and CEO of Bon Secours St. Francis Medical Center. On behalf of the Heart Association and the local sponsors of the AHA National Walking Day initiatives, Bon Secours Richmond and Health Diagnostic Laboratory, I'm pleased to accept this proclamation. Thank you so much. I invite all citizens to put on their sneakers and take a walk on Wednesday, April 3rd, in celebration of National Walking Day, and also to make a commitment to incorporate at least 30 minutes, thank you for those comments, of walking into your daily routines. Walking at least 30 minutes a day will improve circulation, once again, lower cholesterol and blood pressure levels, and promote weight loss. You may have heard this, but I'll say this again. Studies also show that some adults may gain as many as 2 hours additional life expectancy for each hour of regular vigorous physical activity, such as brisk walking. So, let National Walking Day on April 3rd be your first move towards adopting a heart-healthy lifestyle. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
The next recognition being presented by President Charles Samuels and Ms. Jennifer Wicker of City Administration recognizes Toastmasters International City Stars Club 6595 on its 10-year anniversary and is being presented to Jennifer Asante and Toastmaster International City Stars Club 6595 members. The honorable members of Richmond City Council and the Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones hereby recognize Toastmasters International City Stars Club 6595 on the occasion of its 10-year anniversary. Established on March 10th, 2003, the Toastmasters International City Stars Club 6595 was created by the Richmond government employees to assist them with their work in even better serving the needs of Richmond residents. A nonprofit professional education organization providing training and certification programs for public speaking and leadership, the City Stars Club 6595 is a member of Toastmasters International, which began in California in 1924 and now includes more than 13,500 clubs in 116 countries. Over the years, Toastmasters International City Stars Club 6595 has earned a solid reputation for increasing the knowledge, skills, and abilities of its members and the quality of internal and external Richmond government communication. Due to its success, City Stars Club 6595 has expanded to also include other dedicated local, state, and federal government employees. Richmond City Council and Mayor Dwight C. Jones hereby recognize, honor, and celebrate Toastmasters International City Stars Club 6595 on the occasion of its 10-year anniversary, and thanks the officers, members, alumni, and supporters for their commitment and dedication to our community.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There's nothing more nerve-wracking than toasting those who provide toasts as their extracurricular activity. But I am thrilled. Happy anniversary, 10 years. I think many of us on council recognize the importance of quality communication between people to make sure that the message isn't lost. And the fact that you all are doing this to improve yourselves, to improve your communication skills, and to maybe I ought to start attending, and to improve the quality of communications with constituents is very impressive. Thank you guys for this, and a happy anniversary.
Thank you.
On behalf, we'd like to thank President Samuel, Vice President Robinson, members of City Council, and Mayor Jones. Thank you very much for this prestigious award. We'd like to present City Stars Toastmaster Certificate of Honorary Membership to the Richmond City Council members in recognition of their continuing support to Toastmasters International. Toastmasters International has done marvelous things for the City of Richmond employees. We have gone on to achieve higher education. We really hope that everyone here in the City of Richmond can continue being part of City Stars Toastmasters International. And we all like to thank you very much for accepting this award. Thank you. Oh, and this is for you. Thank you. And thank you very much.
Next, we have an award recognizing Dick Harmon on his 25th anniversary as a TV host announcer for WCVE TV Public Broadcasting Service, live television broadcasts of Richmond City Council formal meetings. The honorable members of Richmond City Council hereby recognize Mr. Dick Harmon on the occasion of his 25th anniversary serving as a TV host for the WCVE TV Broadcasting Service, PBS, live television broadcast of Richmond City Council formal meetings. A dedicated professional, Mr. Harmon began serving as the PBS TV host of Richmond City Council meetings in March 1988. Since that time, Mr. Harmon has hosted nearly every Richmond City Council formal meeting held over the past 25 years. Mr. Harmon's collection of work includes hosting of an estimated 600 televised Richmond City Council formal and special meetings held during that time. Richmond City Council hereby recognize, honor, and celebrate Mr. Dick Harmon on the occasion of his 25th anniversary serving as a TV host announcer for the WCVE TV Public Broadcasting Service, live television broadcasts of Richmond City Council formal meetings, and brings this to the attention of a grateful Richmond community.
Before I start, that anybody who has attended 25 years of city council meetings deserves probably even more than applause. And I want to put it in perspective. There's some of us on city council who are senior citizens. There's some of us on city council who are not senior citizens. There are members of council who were 12 years old when you did your first meeting. It just sort of puts it in perspective. But Dick, I know that I do think you should write a book because you have covered a wide scope of city councils. And now you have a mayor and a city council, so it's changed again. But we thank you so much for bringing our meetings to the public, to making the public aware of what happens at our meetings. And I know you give a commentary at the beginning and the end, and we really appreciate it. And I have to say, this is a personal plug. Dick also announces at Trinity basketball games, and I have a grandson who plays there. So thank you also for volunteering your time at Trinity High School. I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you, Ms. Graziano. Mr. Harmon, this is just a phenomenal accomplishment. To give the audience some perspective, Ronald Reagan was the President of the United States when you started this. And I dare guess that a lot of our audience wasn't even born then. So thank you so much for that. It's really, really incredible. And the fact is that we're getting paid for this up here. Some might argue that we're getting paid too much, or if we're getting paid any, we're being paid too much. But certainly a volunteer activity is to be commended. A lot of people may complain about our government, but it's few that have the gumption to come down here and to talk about things and to passionately follow their issue. And you've certainly seen all of that. You're a witness to history, the good, the bad, and the ugly in our city, and we appreciate your service.
I had to step away for a second to do some quick math. 2 council meetings per month, 11 months out of the year, 25 years. I believe it comes to over 550 council meetings, or about 550 council meetings, which is just an incredible track record. We offer you our condolences and also our respect and appreciation for keeping or helping to keep the public informed about what's going on in their city. Thank you very much, Mr. Harmon.
Thank you. Actually, back in the old days, we had more than 22 meetings a year. We had meetings for everything. We met day before Christmas Eve. We met through August. We had special meetings for you name it. We had so it's around 600 times I've been down here. I'm looking up there. Roy West was the mayor when I started. I've been through 9 mayors, 4 council presidents, and 53 different faces sitting here at the council. What makes me feel kind of old, though, is there's one council member here who I remember coaching him at St. Michael's Episcopal School, Councilman Belials, and running into one of his old teachers, and all she could say was, "I taught him." I said, "Well, you must have taught him well. He won the election." I want to thank the Free Press did an article on, I want to say, I thank them for saying that I have neatly combed white hair. Well, when I started, it wasn't white. And when the meetings ran till 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes almost 4 o'clock in the morning, it wasn't too neatly combed by the end either. But it's been an experience. It's a rewarding thing to me to see the way council has streamlined itself in many ways. We used to have one meeting for budget amendments that would last till 4 o'clock in the morning. Tempers got a little frayed at the end, let's say. Now you've got systems in place where things are getting done. As I've said before, maybe people don't always agree with everything you do, but you can't please everybody, but you keep the city first and foremost, and that's the important thing. And I thank you all for putting up with me for 25 years, and as I said before, as long as I got a voice, I'm going to keep on talking. Thank you all very much. Thanks, Kathy.
The next award, being presented by Vice President Ellen Robertson and Councilor Chris Hilbert, recognizes the Richmond Department of Parks and Recreation and Community Facilities City Dance Theater Program for their ongoing success. The honorable members of Richmond City Council hereby recognize Richmond Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities City Dance Theater Program and its many talented dance students for their ongoing success. Started in 1980, the Richmond Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities City Dance Theater Program trains and showcases young dance students ranging in ages from 9 to 16 years of age. Over the years, the program's dance students have performed at events all over Richmond and have taken part in numerous Dance America competitions, winning more than 100 first-place trophies since 1996. During the first week of March 2013, the Richmond Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities City's Dance Theater Program students participated in the Dance America Regional Dance Competition held in Portsmouth, Virginia. Of the 12 dance pieces that were presented, 10 received first-place trophies and 2 received second-place awards. 6 additional special recognition awards were also earned. This outstanding showing qualified the troupe to compete in upcoming Dance America National Finals competition being held in Chicago, Illinois this summer. Richmond City Council hereby recognize, honor, and celebrate the Richmond Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities Cities Dance Theater Program for its ongoing success, and thank its many talented dance students, alumni, instructors, families, and supporters for their work in helping to make Richmond an even better place.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You know, that is so impressive. That really is. As someone who can't dance, and nobody would want to see that, you certainly have some great talent here. And the thing about it is that no one comes about this without the hard work and discipline. So I want to recognize that as well. We're all grateful for you, and we're looking forward to you being leaders of our city in our region in the future. And to our leadership, Ms. Holt, you've done a great job. And we met by happenstance a few years ago. Our addresses are the same except east and west in them. And I saw you on TV after that, and I thought, well, now, wow, this lady does a lot of great work. So thank you so much for your leadership, and Dr. Merrifield for your support of this program. It's nice to be able to jump into something that's already working, isn't it?
It's very nice. It's very nice.
So we're certainly thrilled for that. And thank you to your parents who have been involved in this as well, and your friends for supporting you. And I'm sure that if there are parents here, we'd certainly like to recognize them. Okay, if you'd please stand. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. You're making a big difference.
I'm just going to echo what Councilman Hilbert has already said, and that you have been a shining star for the city of Richmond, and the wonderful job and all of the awards that you all have gotten and the recognition. I don't think you all go anywhere without bringing back the star. And we're going to have you in our prayers when you go this summer. And please let us know if there's anything that we can do to support you and help you in your trip this summer as well. Keep up the great work. And Dr. Murphy, he's standing here like a proud grandfather. He's just so happy. He just said, boy, I inherited one of the greatest things in the world. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
I'll be brief, but I do want to thank our mayor, council for this outstanding recognition. It's greatly appreciated. These are some outstanding young people, without question. You know, we are in March Madness, and you know, you folks already won. You already won. I want to also publicly recognize Annette Holt, who obviously has done an outstanding job with our young people. The awards that they were able to achieve in Portsmouth were just absolutely outstanding. And as the parks director, it is a great inheritance, but also it's a good learning experience for all of us adults, those who dance and those who do not dance, to remember that they will remember this March Madness all of their lives. This is something that they will carry with them all of their lives. And we thank you for allowing this to happen. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the person that really needs to receive a lot of recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Merrifield. And once again, we would all like to thank honored members of City Council. We appreciate you. I'm very, very proud of these young people. I always have been, as you can see. They are already building life skills that we hopefully will take them through very successful careers and whatever path they choose, which is what our program is about. And once again, we are very honored to have received this recognition from the honored members of City Council. Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Mr. President, those are all of the awards and presentations for this evening.
Thank you very much. At this point, I believe we need to do an agenda review and look at any proposed amendments.
Amendments to tonight's agenda consist of item number 1, ordinance number 2012-72. That is to go to the Planning Commission and back before council on April the 22nd. Item number 2, ordinance number 2012-212. That is being continued to April the 22nd. Item number 3, ordinance number 2012-232 is being continued to April the 8th. Item number 4, ordinance number 2012-233 has been withdrawn by the patron. Item number 5, ordinance number 2013-12 is to be amended and continued later this evening. Item number 6, ordinance number 2013-22 is being continued to April the 22nd and is to go back before the Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee on April the 16th. Item number 14, ordinance number 2013-39 is being continued to April the 22nd. Item number 16, ordinance number 2013-41 is being continued to April 22nd and to go back before the Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee on April the 16th. Item number 25, resolution number 2013-R67 is being continued to April the 8th. And moving to the regular agenda, item number 26, ordinance number 2012-4 is being continued to April the 22nd. Item number 27, ordinance number 2012-29 is being continued to April the 8th. Item number 28, resolution number 2013-R8 is to be moved to the consent agenda and to add Vice President Robertson as a co-patron. And item number 29, resolution number 2013-R47 is to be continued to April the 8th. Those are all of the amendments that I have to tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to check on item 27, ordinance number 2012-29. I may have heard wrong. I have that this paper is going to be continued to April 22nd, not April 8th. Is that correct?
Bear with me one moment. Let me double check that. 22nd is correct. I apologize.
Very good.
Being continued to April the 22nd.
Are there any additional amendments to the budget? Excuse me. You can tell where we've been all day today. Are there any other additions or amendments to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on tonight's amended agenda as presented. Mr. Beliles? Aye. Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
The amended agenda is before you.
Wonderful. And at this point, there are no papers that would appear on the regular agenda.
That is correct.
Well, we can dispense with that then and continue forward from there to any motions to amend and continue.
I currently have one motion to amend and continue, and that is for item number 5, which is ordinance number 2013-12, to amend the city code by adding a new section and an amendment, both for the purpose of requiring that the curbside wheels of vehicles parked on streets parallel to a curb shall be no more than 12 inches from such curb and imposing a fine for the violation of such requirements. The proposed amendment to that paper is as follows. Page 1, line 8, after the word than, delete the number 12 and insert the number 18. Page 1, line 20, after the word than, delete the number 12 and insert the number 18. Page 3, line 11, after the word than, delete the number 12 and insert the number 18. I will need a motion to accept the proposed amendment to that paper is as follows. Councilor Agelasto, will you make that motion?
I will move to make the amendments to paper ordinance number 2013-12.
Council is voting on Councilor Agelasto's motion to accept the amended amendment to that paper as presented. Mr. Beliles? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That amendment has been adopted, and that paper will be before you again on Monday, April the 8th, 2013.
Thank you very much. Usually at this point, we do the citizen comment period, but we have some arguably important matters on the consent agenda. More importantly, I think a lot of folks are here for the consent agenda. So unless there is an objection by a council member, I'm going to go ahead and ask that we do the consent agenda now.
The consent agenda items are as follows. Item 7, ordinance number 2013-25, to amend the general fund budget to transfer $70,362 from the non-departmental agency to the Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority for the purpose of making a grant to the authority to provide community improvement projects in the Raven Street community. Item 8, ordinance number 2013-33, to amend city code for the purpose of permitting certain breweries and distilleries. Item 9, ordinance number 2013-34, to authorize the chief administrative officer to accept $20,000 from the Virginia Department of Social Services for the purpose of implementing the Strengthening Family Innovator for Success Council pilot program to promote parenting education for fathers. Item 10, ordinance number 2013-35, to amend city code concerning tangible personal property taxes and machinery and tool taxes for the purpose of changing the due date for such taxes from May 1st to June 5th. Item 11, ordinance number 2013-36, to amend city code to revise the daily rates for use of city docks and to replace references to city dock above to intermediate terminal dock below. Item 12, ordinance number 2013-37, to amend general fund budget for fiscal year 2012-2013 to transfer and appropriate $56,638 from the non-departmental agency to the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facility for the purpose of operating the Canal Creek Gateway Project. Item 13, ordinance number 2013-38, to authorize the Chief Administrative Officer to accept $75,000 from Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority and to appropriate the amount to the Department of Economic and Community Development for the purpose of supporting the city's workforce pipeline program and to provide training and employment opportunities for city residents. Item 15, ordinance number 2013-40, to amend city code for the purpose of prohibiting the inclusion of questions pertaining to an applicant's criminal conviction history on initial applications. Item 17, ordinance number 2013-43, to authorize Chief Administrative Officer to accept $36,782.50 from the Virginia Department of Health Office and Emergency Medical Services and to appropriate the amount to the Department of Fire and Emergency Services for the purpose of providing funding for emergency medical equipment, computer hardware and software, and training aid to provide emergency medical services to city residents and visitors. Item 18, resolution number 2013-R75, to declare a public necessity to amend the city zoning ordinance to make sure to rezone particular properties currently zoned in the B3 General Business District and to request a study of all real property in the B3 General Business District to determine if the zoning classification for such properties is consistent with objectives. Item 19, resolution number 2013-R79, to approve $2,776.10 from council district funds to pay for the printing and mailing of newsletters to the 4th District residents. Item 20, resolution number 2013-R80, to approve $2,535.80 from council district funds to pay for printing and mailing of newsletters to 9th District residents. Item 21, resolution number 2013-R81, to approve $250 from council district funds to make a donation to a storefront for community design to support tree wells planting along Broad Street within the Arts and Cultural District. Item 22, resolution number 2013-R82, to set the rate for personal property tax release for qualifying vehicle for the 2013 tax year. Item 23, resolution number 2013-R83, to authorize the issuance of public utility revenue refunding bonds in the maximum principal amount of $80 million, and to sell such refunding bonds to make payable over the same period as such public utility revenue refund bonds. And item 28, resolution number 2013-R8, to establish a policy that patron, whether the mayor or one or more council members of a proposal that will result in the reduction of an existing revenue source, must also identify an alternate revenue source to offset the proposed reduction, and must have an effective date no earlier than the first July 1st falling at least 120 calendar days after the adoption of such proposal. Mr. President, that concludes the consent agenda items.
Thank you very much. Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in opposition to any of these papers?
My name is Chris Dorsey. I noticed that tonight's consent agenda, which as usual is full of money laundering, behind the scenes dealings, and usury, is just put in an unexplainable and understandable manner. So I'm going to start with resolution 2013-R83. This seems really like something to examine. Seems like $80 million is going to be decided on in a consent agenda in an ambiguously worded to the public statement. $80 million, and this looks like it's coming from exorbitant rates that are being paid by the citizens of the city of Richmond. And further, I'd just like to state that the government doesn't really have any standing to levy these taxes. They do so on behalf of an illegitimate private bank known as the Federal Reserve Bank. And the Federal Reserve Bank gives orders directly to everyone up here and the mayor through something called the Economic Development Authority, which pushed through that garbage Redskins deal, which, if there is any law enforcement left in this country, will result in RICO charges against many of you up here. But basically, there's a lot of tax stuff, and you as a body, the government, the city government of the city of Richmond, does not have any legal standing to collect these taxes. And as is exhibited for anyone who pays any bit of attention, all that you and the people pulling your strings do with the money that the taxpayers give you is engage in racketeering and have this body operated based on construction kickbacks and election fraud. So again, some of us aren't going to tolerate this anymore. We've been asking so-called law enforcement to come in and investigate all of this fraud that you do out in the public.
Again, to summarize.
And from the FBI to the Commonwealth's attorney to the Attorney General, they all seem to be directly in on the cover-up and in on the extortion against the American people and in on the criminal Ponzi scheme that makes every American citizen a debt slave to the Federal Reserve Bank and its operator, the Bank for International Settlements. And this is all a violation of Article 3, Section 3 of the United States Constitution. I urge you all to stop your treachery and your treason. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Good evening. My name is Silver Persinger. I'm a citizen in Richmond, Virginia. I'm speaking against items number 7 and number 12. This is to use inmate labor to clean up Cannon Creek Greenway. I'm supportive of having the Greenway cleaned up, but I'm not supportive of the use of inmate labor. I've spoken against that several times before over the years, but I don't think it's right to use inmate labor. These should be city-paid jobs where the workers receive city benefits, health care, and whatever when you get disabled, workman's comp. Inmates do not receive any of these benefits. To the council's credit, they are paying the inmates minimum wage, unlike previous use of inmates where inmates are worked for $10 a day, which is despicable. I think it's despicable to use inmate labor to do city work. Appropriate funds should be set aside for this work. If it's worth doing, it's worth paying somebody a fair wage and benefits to do this work. You can dress this up as much as you want. This is being sold to the council and not even really being sold to the public, because if I weren't here bringing this up, the public wouldn't even know about this. But it's being sold to the public as something like job training for inmates. And the reason I bring it up now, although I'm not opposed to the work being done, I am opposed to the use of inmates being done to do the work. This is a public-private partnership with Rubicon. The city's contracting to have 10 inmates work a minimum of 10 hours a week. They will receive 1 hour of instruction, learning about plants, and it's being dressed up like it's job training, so these inmates will be able to get gardening jobs in the future. I think probably the majority of people that are in jail shouldn't be there. I think killers, rapists, counterfeiters should be in jail, but people who use drugs and are nonviolent should not be in jail. The majority of the people in our city jail are African American, so I think it's despicable to use African Americans as a cheap source of labor to perform city work. That's why I'm speaking against these papers. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Persinger. Since there's no other comments in opposition, are there any comments in favor of any of these papers? And if everybody who's going to speak in favor of any of the papers would line up behind Ms. Gibbs here in the white and purple, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Good evening, Mr. President and City Council. You all know that I have been with Freedom House now for 16 years, and Freedom House is a nonprofit here in Richmond that helps the homeless. We run the soup kitchen in Richmond, and we also work with DOC to accept individuals who are being released from jail or from penitentiary to try to get them back on their feet. One of the things that we have found over the years, and I think everybody sitting here in this meeting tonight will know, that a high majority of the homeless individuals come out with felonies, and those felonies are not necessarily a high percentage of abusive type or hardcore criminal offenses. They are usually drug offenses that in 1982 someone got busted with half a baggie of pot, and now a lot of nations are a lot of states are looking at making that legal. But those types of things, such as passing a bad check, being convicted of felony with drug possession, a drug addiction, drug dealing, or whatever the case may be, harms them for life. Individuals who serve their time, if they are, or their probation, they pay back their court fines like they should. They may have had their college degrees or their master's degrees or even their PhDs, and we have seen doctors and dentists and lawyers come through our programs who have had these issues, and they cannot go back into their job area. I highly support item 14, and the ordinance is number 40, about having the City of Richmond allow individuals who have had felonies on their history and their record to apply for positions that are open here. And then once you meet the individual, you will be convinced, probably 9 times out of 10, that they are worthy individuals to work for the City of Richmond. Freedom House, like I said, a lot of the organizations, but us at Freedom House do hire felonies. People who carry those felonies and felons, and they do come in and they actually make great success stories. We've had case managers who have come in. We have program directors that are acting in several of the positions. We've had felons serve on our board of directors from other agencies and those that have been homeless. They bring a wealth of information to different organizations in the city. You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize. And in the, in the neighborhoods that they have to deal with. So I encourage that the City of Richmond to consider that, to allow individuals to have those interviews, because you will probably be very, very impressed with individuals that carry felons in the City of Richmond. Thank you.
Ms. Gibbs, would you please identify yourself for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am the director of Freedom House here in Richmond.
And your name?
Melba Gibbs.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbs. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Honorable Council and President, Vice President. My name is Ulysses Brown. I'm a proud resident of the H District, Southside Richmond. I stand today in support of the ordinances for number 9 and number 13, which are funding for some programs that I believe will impact and support the Anti-Poverty Commission's recommendations. In particular, item number 13, the $75,000 for the workforce pipeline is a step in the right direction, and it is actually one of the items that recommended to give some high impact. But I do want to stress the importance when you guys are funding these appropriations, the oversight of these taxpayers' dollars, and to put them to best use. I want to encourage that you leverage this to support our efforts in the community efforts to help you address the poverty in this city by opening up the results of this information, the data, the presentations that are made, so that we in the community can use this information and take it back and leverage it so we can present it to our congregations, to our community organizations, the same information. This information can be used as a platform for the communities to leverage and grow. Our Riva Tremor will have a meeting tomorrow, and if we had this information that's available to us, perhaps that could be used as a presentation that we could use. This information is paid by taxpayers' dollars, and it should be readily usable and available. The PDF presentation, the documentation, all of these sort of things. So start opening up this data, utilizing it as a platform. There was a presentation and an honor given to the spokesperson about having the public TV shows for the council meeting. Well, that's 20th century technology. We're now moving into the 21st century. We can leverage a lot more of this digital data, make it available as a platform. So when you get into your committee meetings, make appropriations of $75,000 and $20,000, think in terms of making this information and leveraging it as a platform for the citizens of the Commonwealth to use. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Yates, and I'm with the Industrial Workers of the World. The Richmond, Virginia Industrial Workers of the World would like to extend support for the ordinance number 2013-40, which removes from all initial applications for employment with the City of Richmond the question pertaining to the applicant's criminal conviction history. We believe this is a positive step towards recognizing and addressing the roots of poverty in Richmond and the nation at large. According to the Mayor's Anti-Poverty Commission report, published in January 2013, of the 35,000 Richmond city residents who fall below the poverty line, at least 16,800 of those residents are unemployed and 15,600 are underemployed, working only part-time or part-year. In the same report, the Commission offers recommendations to ending poverty that include removing the barriers to escaping poverty and strengthening low-income households and families. One such barrier to escaping poverty is the stigma attached to being labeled a felon. This condition contributes to what is called recidivism, the tragic cycle of imprisonment and rearrest. Recidivism often hinges upon an individual's ability to find employment and reintegrate into the economy. If an individual is unable to accomplish this, they are significantly more likely to return to prison, making it even more difficult for them and their family to escape poverty. While this ordinance doesn't expunge that label from their record, it does provide an opportunity for the applicant to get their foot in the door with an interview and let their words testify to their employability, rather than an ambiguous mark on a piece of paper. In closing, we would like to thank you, Councilperson Mosby, for sponsoring this ordinance, and thank you, Vice President Robertson, Councilperson Agalesto, Newbill, and Trammell for co-sponsoring it. We strongly urge City Council to approve this ordinance and consider expanding its scope to the private sector as well. Such a measure would further place us on the path to addressing the underlying structural causes of poverty in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Mr. President and City Council members, Richard Walker, Bridging the Gap in Virginia, in support of ordinance number 15, 2013-40. The data and the numbers are there for you to look at, to see that the recidivism rates are to be coming down, that the levels of poverty are below that level here in the city of Richmond. But the real essence of this is that individuals coming out of incarceration that need employment, you know, that are coming back and returning citizens back to the community of Richmond, they need a second chance. If this city is to ever, I repeat, ever become a tier 1 city, it has to be all inclusive of all its citizens. To deny some citizens, individuals, an opportunity for employment is keeping them in bondage, keeping them disenfranchised, keeping them separate from what really goes on in the city of Richmond. You know, and I heard the gentleman just speaking of the rate of recidivism. Someone coming out and they can't even get employed by the city that they grew up in by mere fact they made a mistake. But however, they tend to go back to that which got them locked up, incarcerated in the beginning. When they get frustrated, when they get disgusted, when they get to the point of frustration, that they return to that which helps keep them surviving and taking care of their family, taking care of their children, being able to have self-worth, self-esteem. All of that is essential for individuals returning back to society. I am an ex-offender. I needed that when I came out of incarceration. I did apply for positions within the city of Richmond. However, I never even got a call back on one of them. You know, but my story is different. I have a college degree. You'll get a lot of ex-offenders that do not have a college degree that will need employment, that will need support from the community that they grew up in, albeit they did make a mistake. But they're looking for this community that they return to, that their families grew up in, that they have support from all their life, that they can get back once they've committed their crime, did their time, paid their fines, and looking to return to the community that they grew up in. All these folk that are standing in line, I'm sure, without a shadow of a doubt, are in support of this same bill. And I thank Councilperson Mosby, first-term councilwoman, for coming out to doing this. Councilperson Hilbert, you are the one that directed me to Councilperson Mosby. I appreciate you giving me that direction and let me know that she is working toward this. And I'm hoping and believing with all confidence that you will support this as well. That at the end and the conclusion, that we can have this a full council vote, that you can let the returning citizens of the city of Richmond know that the city of Richmond stands behind them, is about to give them a second chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Mr. President and council members, my name is Dr. Kim Allen, and I am the president of the Richmond NAACP. Many of our members are here this evening, and I represent them. As many of you know, the NAACP is the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization, and for over 100 years has led the fight to protect and advance the civil rights of all Americans. In a process established by the NAACP's Constitution, a resolution to ban the box was adopted by delegates to our 101st Annual Convention in Kansas City, 2010. This resolution to ban the box was subsequently ratified by the NAACP's National Board of Directors and is now the policy of the association. A similar resolution is slated for adoption by the Richmond unit. As the president of the Richmond unit, I speak on behalf of the hundreds of our members who live and work in Richmond, who seek an end to the employment discrimination of thousands of men and women who are being denied equal access to employment opportunities in the city. It is often the case that once incarcerated people return home, finding an employer willing to give them a chance to work is difficult. Placing the box on job applications makes successful reentry more difficult by discouraging formerly incarcerated people from applying for jobs and increasing the likelihood that their applications will not be considered. Obviously, employers have legitimate concerns regarding liability and trustworthiness of those hired. We are not advocating that the finance division hire an embezzler, but if we as a society are serious about giving people a second chance, we need to examine policies which punish qualified applicants unfairly long after they've completed their sentence. Banning the box about criminal history will strengthen employment opportunities for formerly incarcerated job seekers and truly give them a second chance at success. We ask that Richmond join with other major metropolitan cities that have passed similar policies. The proposed ordinance to ban the box will help our city build strong, stable families and communities. Our city benefits from having qualified men and women work and pay taxes. Everyone deserves a second chance to succeed, and we ask for your support in banning the box. In particular, I want to thank Councilwoman Mosby and other patrons of the ordinance, Dr. Newbill, Ms. Trammell, Vice President Robertson, and Mr. Agilisto. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And folks, unfortunately, the only time in which clapping is appropriate during council meetings is during the awards and presentations. This is more than likely going to be a 9-0 vote. We know that this is what you want, and I think it's fair to say that most of what the folks are going to say is appealing, but I'd ask that you hold your applause. Thank you. So please come on down.
Good evening. My name is Nathaniel Lewis. I'm here in support of banning the box. I'm here this evening not because I belong to an organization or I'm seeking some type of fundraiser or grant to start a nonprofit organization. I'm here as a recent victim of the box. I was incarcerated as a juvenile and tried as an adult for adolescent choices I made. I'm not here for that about whether it's fair or not. I went in without a high school education and came out with a college degree, which they no longer offer. The box for 2 years now has left me unemployed. So now I'm deprived of being able to put a suit on tomorrow morning and help some type of company excel or succeed with the college degree of being an information technician for computers because of a felon. I'm here because maybe I can stop some 15 or 16-year-old like I was from making a choice and being a victim of the box. The box has left me to waking up every morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, going to temp services when, like I said, I very well can put a suit on and say good morning and turn around and look at the city with a beautiful office. But I can't do that because of the box. Employees, they look over my applications, and when they get to that section, they stand up and they shake my hand and say, "I give you a call back." But just before the box, I seen them with the raised eyebrows, and they looking at me, but then the box. It's the box. So I'm here in support of it. Maybe some 15-year-old who made the wrong choice I made can come home after receiving a college education and can put a suit on, because I can't do it. So tomorrow morning I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go into the temp and wait till they have someone to call in for a flagging job or raking leaves. I continue to do that until we do something about the box. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please. Folks, please hold.
Hi, I'd like to thank the supporters, council people of this bill. My name is Gladys Arlene Tucker. I like the idea because I know from experience that the box should be eliminated. Incarcerated individuals who get out have paid their debt to society twice because they cannot get gainful employment. On the other side, incarcerated victims hire lawyers, judicial, correction officers, police officers, doctors. The entire prison system, there's some form of employment, whether it's food service or whatever, and some of those people get to live lavishly as a result of an inmate. So at least those individuals, once they are released, could have an opportunity and a chance at least some sort of salary to sustain their life and not become a victim or someone else's grandmother, cousin, brother, sister, or mother be exterminated from life because they want to get that quick money. So please support this bill. Paper, proposal. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Lily Branch Kennedy, and I am the director of an organization, RIHD, which is a nonprofit organization that assists prisoners and family. And I'm also the director of the RIHD Youth Center, which happens to be in the District 7 with Councilwoman Newbill, who has been really great in assisting us with the youth. Okay, here's the thing. I'm in the middle, I'm between a rock and a hard place. I have youth who, for the majority of them, their parents are either incarcerated or have a felony record. And we're trying to decrease that. We're trying to deter them from crime and violence. Then on the other hand, I go each year across the street to the General Assembly, and I'm over there advocating for prisoner earned second chance legislation, such as prisoner literacy education, therapeutic, and vocational rehabilitation, and many other programs. And we've been successful with that, and they've increased some of the trainings and the programs inside the prison. But here's the thing. If you're training them for jobs and employment, and we're trying to get them ready to come out into our community to be productive, why are we still closing that door on them when they get out? What is the sense? I don't understand that. And I just want to say this here. I'm in Richmond. Newport News has done it. Newport News the city of Newport News has passed this piece of legislation. We're in Richmond. I really think we should have been the lead, but it's better to come in on here and follow, with that. But I'm not going to stay here because I'm a little nervous. I wasn't planning to speak, but I just asked for the children. Let's show them, those who are out there, at-risk children, that yes, if they make a mistake and pay and are held accountable, that they too will receive and be afforded an earned second chance. And to those prisoners, many young men who came in when they were 18 and are coming out, when they come out, have earned a second chance, training, education.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Okay, like the young man that was here before that said he's got his college education. What's the sense of doing all of that if we're going to close the door? So please, remove ban the box. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Tommy Cox. I'm basically here to support the ban of the box. I am an ex-offender, but I am representing the Guardian Angels. I'm representing Saving Our Youth. I'm representing a lot of people that's coming out of prison that are trying to do the right things, trying to find jobs, and some beautiful, powerful things have been said. I'm not going to make a speech. I just wish and hope and pray that you support it, ban the box, and help the people that are trying to come out and do some good things in this city.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Felicia Griffin, and I'm here to support Ordinance 2013-40. I am a convicted felon, but I'm so much more than that. I'm a college grad and a college student. I think taking this off the application will give us an opportunity to show that we are so much more. Everybody convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor is not all bad. There are a lot of bad people in this world, but everybody convicted of a felony is not. And I think this would really give us an opportunity to become productive citizens and to help the economy of Richmond, because we will be tax-paying citizens. But just because we made a mistake does not mean we don't need a decent wage, does not mean we don't need a job with good benefits. And I just really feel that this will give us the opportunity that we need. It's a small change, but it'll lead to so much more. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Tawana Bryant. I'm also with the NAACP. I'm here because I am also in support of the bandbox. I really appreciate everyone who is supporting this, who put their minds to understand that there is a change and that poverty is something that no one should have to suffer. And if we're going to attack every component, the ban of the box is the way. And which reminds me of a book that I used to read called The Scarlet Letter. And what happened in that book was that the lady was committed a sin. And then she was jailed and she was made free. But because of society, they still made her wear the letter A on her chest. So they mentally beat her down, labeling her as a constant guilt person of guilt. I'm asking you today, and I'm thanking you for everyone who will support this bill, because we should not put a box on them. We should not label them. When they've done their time, they come out that box, we shouldn't put them in another one. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Darrell Hilliard. I'm here in support of banning the box. For me personally, I think this is long overdue. I think that I feel the same way as many of these young men that walked up here today, as far as being stereotyped, not even getting the opportunity to get my foot in the door with jobs that I know that I'm qualified for. I'm here because many of my friends say the same thing, that they don't even want to try to go to certain jobs because they know before they even get there, they're not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things that we dealing with now, it's time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's personal to me because this has been overdue for years, you know, and for people that have families that's really out here that's went and paid their dues to society and want to succeed and want to move on in life, every time we go in there, a lot of these business owners, they don't even want to talk to you because, you know, once they know that you're a convicted felon, they're not going to give you the opportunity without even knowing what you're convicted of or what you done or anything because of the box. They say, well, he's a felony, so automatically they assume you might have done something vicious when anybody can go to jail. Anybody. One of you, anybody can make mistakes. So I said that because I know for a fact that this ban the box is a step in the right direction, and there's a lot more that can be done once you start that change. I commend you, Ms. Mosby, for putting this proposal forward, and I respect all of you if you would pass this and allow Richmond to move forward and allow our citizens of Richmond to be productive, to be able to be one of the guys that instead of being in jail, help building the jail, you know, things like that, you know, that would help us as citizens. I also like to say that I know for a fact that me personally, losing my mother and father this year, I knew I had to become the backbone of my family. So, you know, I said that I was going to make every effort forward to make my sisters and my family proud of me. But every time I get this going into a job that I know I'm qualified for, a job that I know I'm supposed to get, you know, I don't even get that opportunity because first thing they say is, he's a convicted felon. He ain't gonna do what he's supposed to do, without even knowing my history or knowing what I'm trying to face as far as taking care of my family. So I asked all of you to support this Ban the Box, because it's not just for me personally, it's for families like me, my kids.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
So I just ask all of you to support this Ban the Box, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
First of all, I would like to thank all of you for the opportunity to stand before you today, supporting the Ban the Box. I want to commend Ms. Mosby. I don't know her, but when I got a phone call about this particular situation, I had to change my schedule so I could be here because it speaks about me. I'm an ex-offender, and I came home from prison in 1989. I wasn't asking for nobody, I wasn't looking for nobody to give me nothing. I searched and searched and searched and knocked, did everything I could to find a job. But doors were slammed in my face, and people looked at me like I was a piece of meat or a second-class citizen. When I came home, after going through that experience, I didn't feel like I was a citizen of the United States, let alone Richmond. But my pastors, who I'm still with today, seen what took place when I first came home in 1989. They made a job on their staff for me because I wasn't a person that worked when before I changed my life. But they made a job. In other words, they gave me some hope. They believed in me. I went from prison, being a habitual convict, right, to becoming a preacher. I've been out, like I said, ever since 1989. Today, presently, I was laid off from my job in April, and having to go through that experience again, and I'm experiencing the same things that I experienced when I came home in 1989. I'm married, have a family. I'm a basketball coach in the community Little League. I'm a football coach in the community Little League. I go to the prisons twice a month because of what I went through. I want to try to instill in the inmates and let them know that there is hope once you get out. But because of the Ban the Box, it makes it very hard. I thought this part of my life was over with.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
I thought this was over with. But I went to fill out applications twice that I would have been able to get the jobs. But what happened was, the man said we have to do a background check first on both jobs. And they said once you clear the background check, you can start the job. But the background checks came back, right? And I couldn't get the job. Neither place. So I just want to say thank you, because you do have people out here that has never been locked up before. There's a young man in my church that go to VCU.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt. Your time is up. Do you want to say one last thing?
Yes, sir. This quick story. He goes to VCU. He's a junior in school, and he's going to be a brain surgeon. He told me, he said, man, even when I finish school, and I have to go to school for 13, 14 years, if I don't have anybody to help me, I will have a hard time fulfilling my goals just like anybody else. So all I'm saying is, if you alleviate the Ban the Box, it will give people hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you state your name for the record?
My name is Martin Owens.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Kevin Hunter, and I would like to first of all just thank God for the opportunity to stand before you and to not only share what I feel, but share my testimony. I'm also a convicted felon. My conviction dates as far back as 1987. But But as of today, I'm still dealing with the box. On every job I go to, that's the first thing that, I see is, have you been convicted of a felony? Now, I just want to say, for me personally, it really is a demotivator. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like that. I know, different jobs and different companies, they look for the best when they look for employees. But when you have a person like me that has been convicted of a felony and I come home and I want to try to be a productive citizen, and when I go to fill an application out and that question comes up, it just hits me and it makes me feel hopeless. It makes me feel like they're going to look at my application, they're going to see that I've been convicted of a felony, and they're going to just throw it away. Now, a lot was said before me, and I don't have to go over it all again. But what my hope is that you all, the governing body of the city of Richmond, could send a message to other people like myself that we care. That's basically what I would like to see out of all of this, that because I was taught coming up that the system don't care about you. And it's things that I experienced that kind of made me feel that that was true. Like when I was 17 years old and I was tried as an adult and convicted of a felony and never had rights, I kind of felt like, these people are against me. But we have an opportunity as a city to send a message to young people like myself and people that have made mistakes that we can.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
And I stand in support of the banning of the box. I don't know, employees, they can always steal once they find out your background, can shoot you down. But again, I would like the city to send a message that we care and we would do everything possible to help those that have made mistakes and want to do better for their life. Thank you.
Thank you. And I've realized I need to interrupt the discussion for just 1 second. You can stay there. Folks, our rules under Section 4, subparagraph J, say that both sides, for and against, are only allotted 30 minutes. We're now exceeding that. Unless someone objects, I can waive that rule, that we can listen to the next 9 or 10 folks, however many are in line right now. Is there anybody that's going to object if I make that decision? No. Okay, very good. That provides, the gentleman in the red necktie is the last speaker.
Good evening, council members, Mr. Hilbert, fellow citizens. My name is Julie Ann Brown. I live in Northside. I want to talk specifically about the labeling of nonviolent juvenile felony. I'll tell you a little story. A 15-year-old answered the door one evening to a friend, as always. They got on the computer in the family room. Later, the 15-year-old went to bed. A couple of days later, a detective shows up asking for the 15-year-old. He wasn't in. The detective explained to the mom that the friend had come to the house, who had come to the house, was in custody because he had broken into a school, taken some items, and told the detective that the 15-year-old was with him and a jump drive had been taken. The detective asked if he could search the 15-year-old's room. The mom and the detectives searched the 15-year-old's room. No drugs, no residue, no pistol or porn was found. The detective asked if the mom would find out about the item, bring it to the headquarters by 4 p.m. that day. She assured him she would. She wanted to do the right thing. Later, the 15-year-old came home from school. She asked him if he knew anything about a jump drive. He said, yes, it's in the computer where my friend left it. The mom explained it was stolen and they needed to take it to the police. They went to the police station, and in her haste to get there before 4 p.m., the jump drive was left. She left her son at the station to go back home to get it. When she got back, her son was in handcuffs. The detective said now they had pictures of her son and his friends in the school, but she asked to see those pictures. They were not pictures of her son. This guy was very light-skinned, He was a black kid, but he was very light-skinned. Her son was a very dark-skinned kid. The 15-year-old was charged with breaking and entering and trespassing. In court, the judge even said the photos were like day and night. Charges were dismissed. But because the mom had brought the item in, the 15-year-old was charged and convicted of possessing stolen property valued at $201. The principal said he had bought it off the internet for $189, but the Commonwealth attorney said some of them he had seen were $201. So the boy was convicted of a nonviolent juvenile felony. This could have played out in a different way had the mom thrown the jump drive away and neither one of them owned up to it.
30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
But she was trying to do the right thing. If you could, you're talking about banning the box, if you could not put that box there, because when someone is a nonviolent felon, that just, what does it do? That's a misnomer to me. I don't know how you all think about it. You shouldn't even, especially a juvenile, a nonviolent offender, that shouldn't even be on his record, and he shouldn't have to worry about a box. I am in support of banning the box. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Tony Johnson. The reason why I'm here, I really do support banning the box. And Ms. Mosby, thank you for initiating this in this area. As someone has said previously, this had already been passed in Newport News. This has been a passion for me for the last year or two. Having the box on the application has affected me personally and professionally. I do work in the human service field. Every day I see a client who's affected by the box. The majority of my clients are felons, and they are having problems getting jobs, and by not being able to get jobs, they're not able to take care of their basic needs such as food and shelter. Banning the box is also a public safety issue, and it would help the individual and the community in different ways. One of the biggest problems with the box on the application is people will fill out applications and they'll mark that they are a felon. Before they even give an interview, their application is automatically thrown away. I like to give an example of a situation in the city of Richmond. I know of a young lady who volunteered for the city of Richmond for 5 months, and she was a convicted felon. She was not able to get the job, although she was able to volunteer for the position for 5 months. What happened, she applied for the job, she didn't get it, someone else got the position, and she had to train the person who got the paid position. That's a shame. Shame on you, City of Richmond. Also, I feel that banning the box will increase accountability and responsibility, will foster community pride and reduce crime. We always talk about the crime in the city of Richmond. Think about it. Why is there so much crime in Richmond? I see clients every day who cannot find jobs. So how do they support their families? They go back out and commit crimes so that they can put food on their tables. There are approximately 377,000 convicted felons in the state of Virginia, which is 6.8% of the state's population. This is a large amount of people who have been denied the right to vote, and a large amount that have been denied the right.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Okay, of employment. It is unfair for felons to continue to have to pay after they have served their time and are denied the right to become productive members of society. I hope everyone in the council will think hard on passing ban the box. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Zico Singleton, and I think I echo the same sentiment that everyone else previously spoke on. I'm a convicted felon, nonviolent, and since I've been released from the Department of Corrections, I have not been able to become gainfully employed. I have a box full of useless certificates of training issued from the Commonwealth of Virginia in different food service, clerical, administrative duties that I was good enough to do while in the Department of Corrections for 23 cents an hour. And they're absolutely useless out here. I've lived in Richmond most of my life. My family pays taxes here. We spend money here. We live here. And I can't even get an interview here. It's disheartening and it's depressing. And I can't even provide for my 15-year-old daughter. So I thank God that I have a family who will help me feed her and clothe her and shelter her. But I'm an adult. I'm willing to work. I want to work. And I walk up and down Broad Street and anywhere else that I can get to on the bus to look for a job. I feel patronized because once I am honest on my applications about my past felony conviction, I know that after that I won't hear anything anymore. And I call to check on statuses every day, and it's just become really depressing. I know too many people in Newport News who have become gainfully employed and they can contribute to their families. And I'd like to see the same thing happen for us in Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Brian Woodworth. I'm an ex-felon. I served 22 years, just about my whole adult life. When I was released in 2001, I came back to Richmond and began to look for work. It was incredibly difficult doing the applications, and after about 2 months, I resorted to going to places and asking to speak to somebody about a job, and was very blessed to walk into a construction company where the owner heard me and called me in, asked what the circumstances were behind me, which the box was banned because I got in the door. I didn't have to fill out the application. And after about 30, 40 minutes of, I'd say, kind of intense conversation, sharing my past, which 22 years in prison, you know it's not good. I had the opportunity to look him in the eye. I had the opportunity to share what I'd done in prison, the changes I'd made in my life. And I was blessed with a job as a common laborer. Within 2 years, I was a foreman with the company, and it's now been 12 years. I'm still employed. I do extensive volunteer work here in the city, working with ex-felons mostly. And it is very, very difficult to keep them positive. I know banning the box is not going to get them the job. Banning the box is not going to stop the employer from knowing what they did. I understand that. But you got to understand, all of us think that if we make eye contact with somebody, we feel like we kind of know them. And if you have a few minutes of conversation, most of us feel we're pretty good judges of people, and we trust our instincts. And that's all we're asking for. The rest of it's going to come. My employer has employed, even before me, has employed ex-felons. I mean, we do sewer and water work, so you got to pretty much take what you can get. But we have been highly productive, and I think that's what people will find out. If the city makes the first step, other companies in the city will start to do the same thing.
Please begin to summarize.
And that's all it takes, is just word of mouth getting out. It is so hard on these guys. We all know what the economic system is doing today, how hard it is. Those of us that are employed are truly blessed, and we're just wanting to get a foot in the door. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just as you come up, sir, please know that this is on the consent agenda. There is no controversy or question about what's going to happen with this paper. If that changes your desire to speak, so be it. Sir, please.
Yes, good to be here. I just wanted to, first of all, I want to address City Council. I would like to say that I believe wholeheartedly that what human beings do best is make mistakes, okay? That goes for everyone in this room. The message here is hope. I'm listening to these testimonies back here, and I'm tearing up. I'm a convicted felon, okay? I qualify for many jobs in this city, across the state, across the country, okay? I have been affected by the box directly, okay? I've been homeless because of not only my actions. See, let me say this. Corrections is everybody's responsibility, okay?
a convicted felon, it's my responsibility. Do what it takes to provide for my family, to do what's right. Okay, if given the opportunity, probably things will be a little bit easier for me. But corrections is everyone's responsibility, and the message is hope. I mean, we're talking about a crime rate. I'm a member of the Guardian Angels, okay, and we're talking about a crime rate that we want to reduce, okay? We're talking about desperation versus hope. These are the issues here. We're talking about worthlessness versus self-esteem, healthy self-esteem. We're talking about poverty versus financial stability. These are the issues here. Ban the box. I commend Michelle Mosby, Councilwoman Mosby, and everyone here at City Council for giving us extra time to speak. The man with the red tie is the last speaker. Thank you for that, City Council. We're talking about more crime versus public safety. Okay, we're talking about hope here. I believe that there are two types of people, and someone told me this when I was incarcerated. There are people that deserve prison, and there are people that make mistakes. I even have my quirks with that, because as a firm believer in Jesus Christ, I believe that he came for the least. He came for the lowest, the people that were degraded and outcast by society. That's who my God came for. So I would love for City Council. Michelle Mosby, once again, I commend you. I'm glad to be here. And the message, once again, is hope. People are going to resort back to what that led them here if they're not given proper opportunities. And I do believe that corrections is everyone's responsibility. Yeah, I may have more obstacles to face, so I rise up and I have to, I have to dust myself off maybe a little bit more than someone else would. So be it. But after you've paid your due to society, your dues, and you're doing the right things and do what it takes to progress, to move forward.
Please begin to summarize.
Yes, ma'am. Once again, all I want to say, the message is hope, and there's a lot of people not here that probably express the same thing. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you state your name for the record?
My name is John X. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please.
My name is Robert Winfrey, 108804, 15534. Previously a convicted felon. Did time in corrections. I am in support of banning the box. It's kind of ironic to me that when we do wrong and we are sent to the Department of Corrections, and I just assume that when you're sent to the Department of Corrections, you're sent to be corrected. You hold them until they're corrected, then send them out only to be rejected for being corrected at the Department of Corrections. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Then we ask that they come out and pay fines that they don't have a job to pay the fine for in the first place. Then you put interest on the fines while you were locked up, compound the interest, making it even more difficult for you to even pay the fines and get a good job. And then when they commit a crime, then you put them back in the same system that you said you corrected them with in the first place. So when we talk about banning the box, Sister Michelle Mosby, I am thankful to God for you. I am thankful that you were able to come up with something. You're a neophyte. It should have been done a long time ago, but at least it's being done now. So I applaud you. I applaud City Council. But we have to look at. I think we are just so narrow-minded in our thinking. Thank you for coming up with the motion and the notion of making a change. And I think what happens a lot of times, we are just so afraid to stand forward or to take a step forward and try to make change. But I'm grateful and I'm thankful. I'm here because I can retire. I'm all right. But there are others that are behind me that's coming. And those kids that's going into incarceration, let me say this real quickly. Most of the people that go into incarceration are not the same people that come out of incarceration. The young kids go in there and their brain does not even mature till they're 25 years old. You get them a 20-year sentence and they come out 20 years later and you hold them for something that somebody did as a teenager. So those are some things that we need to look at. They have to take care of families. They have to get a new start. And I think that banning the box is a great step toward trying to improve our thinking, our mentality.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Just said thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Next speaker, please.
Hi, thank you, City Council. My name is Rain Burrows. I don't think I can add words to support Ban the Box more than has already been said. I'd really like to thank all the people that have talked tonight and shared their lives with us. That is so touching, I want to cry. I talked to 3 people walking up from Morgan Hill where I live, asking them to come with me. You know, a guy that was on his bike and a guy that was panhandling and another guy that was just smoking a cigarette. It's like, oh, they don't want to hear from me. I'm a convicted felon. Well, you know what? They do want to hear from you, or maybe you don't, but they're there. And John Johnson said, will you be my voice, Rain? So I'm going to be their voice. I mean, a lot of people are here, but there are so many people out there that you need to represent because you're our representatives. Ban the Box is a first step. New Hampshire's House of Representatives just passed a ban on privatized prisons. No more in New Hampshire. You will not be profiting off of prisons in New Hampshire. A judge is in jail for 20 years for taking $1 million worth of bribes to put young kids into juvenile detention. I mean, this is such a huge thing. I spent a lot of time on the internet seeing the injustices that are done to mostly young Black and Latino people. Stop and frisk. There's a huge case up in New York right now. Stop and frisk. They're given orders on how many Black kids they have to stop and frisk. And a lot of those kids are in jail for nothing. So anyway, I made my peace. Peace and love.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
My name is Montague Magruder. I'm speaking in support of banning the box, but I would like to go ahead and make a couple of criticisms. First, I would like to state that I don't think that the ban the box doesn't go far enough. It should have been expanded to cover every last single employer within city limits, because just because the city bans the box on their jobs doesn't mean that the private employers are willing to be as compassionate as the city is should y'all pass this. But I would like to also make this suggestion. Go ahead and pass this ordinance. Please do. In the future, expand it to all private employers. And finally, I really believe this needs to happen. Y'all need to finish the job that Tim Kaine was too much of a coward to finish and pass a living wage ordinance. It's about time that if y'all really want to tackle poverty, that is the way that y'all would do it, is by passing a living wage ordinance. Right now, it takes a person to have to make $17.88 an hour just to afford a 2-bedroom apartment at fair market rent. Most people that actually live within the city don't even make that much. They make half of that or even less than half. So if y'all want to really get at the poverty issue, make sure that employers, and the city included, pay their workers a living wage that allows them to actually afford to be able to live in a 2-bedroom apartment at fair market rent. And what I would like to see in the future is not only Richmond, Newport News, but the whole state come together and come up with a solution that basically what I have in mind is, if a person has finished their sentence and they haven't committed a crime for, let's say, 5 or 6, 7 years since then, that their conviction is wiped off the record. Because employers still use past convictions from even 15 or 20 years, as some have even stated, as a basis to deny them of employment. And I think that needs to change. But it can only be changed, as far as I'm concerned, on a state level. So I would really like to see this city and Newport News and the rest of Virginia, come together and come up with that solution. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Finally, the last guy in the red tie. Seriously, but Mr. Sammons, I want to thank you. I was in line for a long time, so I'd have been quite upset if you didn't let me speak today. All right. My name is Dominique Purval. I'm a member of the Richmond NAACP. As many of you know, the NAACP is the nation's oldest and largest civil rights organization, and for over 100 years has led the fight to protect and advance the civil rights of all Americans. Tonight, we seek an end to the employment discrimination of thousands of men and women who are being denied equal access to employment opportunities in our city. I'm here today because, like so many before me, I am also a felon. I have struggled long and hard to restore my rights and regain respect and admiration of my family, community, friends, and colleagues. You see, at the age of 19, I received a nonviolent felony conviction. It was my first and only offense. Since my felony conviction in 2004, I have married my high school sweetheart of 11 years. We have 3 wonderful children. I graduated from vocational school and worked as an electrician for 9 years. I currently own and operate a 3rd-generation family business, 2 assisted living facilities for mentally ill adults. I'm also the president of the Virginia Adult Care Association that represents the mentally ill adults in the homes that they reside in. I try to mentor youth within my community and in my church. I'm sharing all these things with you all today because if I came to this building to put in an application, more than likely my application would be immediately sent to the rejection pile due to my prior criminal history. But I'm not here today to speak for me. I'm here today to speak on behalf of those who are not as fortunate to have learned a trade or inherit a family business. I'm here today for those who have made a youthful mistake, a bad decision, or exercised poor judgment that resulted in a felony conviction. I'm here to speak for those who have served their sentence, completed probation or parole, and have not reoffended. I'm here for those who want to put their past behind them and move forward with their life, who want to be productive members of society and improve the quality of life for themselves and their family. I'm here for those who have paid their debts to society but are still paying because of the unfairly exclusion from competing from jobs. I'm here for those who are being discriminated against because of a box that judge a person based on old and oftentimes unrelated conviction, a box that prevents a person from being evaluated based on merits, prevents a person from being evaluated based on knowledge, skills, qualifications, or their ability to perform on a job. A box that locks out people with criminal history and prevents them from successfully transitioning back into the workforce. I'm here today to ask that we ban the box. I ask for the removal of unfair barriers to employment with people with criminal history and allow equal opportunities for all, because like you, as ex-felons, do deserve a second chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Folks, if you would please hold your applause, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for following the rules of this council. All right. Having heard those in opposition and those in support, I'll bring it back to council for any discussion. Ms. Mosby?
I just want to thank everyone that came out, and I do want everyone to know that we let you speak because we believe in your voice. That's the first thing. But I want you to understand from District 1 to District 9, everybody was in favor of this when I brought it to them. There was not one of your district people that said no to that. Also, I want to express that we had issues up until today, and the administration did everything that they could do to make sure that this passed today. So I need you all to understand that your city is trying to make sure that this moves forward. It's not a Michelle Mosby thing. It was a team effort, and everybody did their job to make this happen.
Thank you, Ms. Mosby. All right. Folks, I'm so sorry, but one thing I am a stickler for is rules, and I'm going to have to ask you not to applaud anymore. Thank you very much. Any other council discussion? Very good. Please call the question, Madam Clerk.
The council is voting on the consent agenda items 7 through 13, 15, 17 through 23, and item 28. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agalasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuel?
Aye, with the exception of item number 28, Resolution 2013 R8. That one I'd be voting no on. Don't worry, it's not the ban the box paper.
The consent agenda has been adopted.
Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming out tonight and voicing your concern. If we could get this many folks out at every single city council meeting, I would be very, very happy about that. Thank you all again for coming. At this point, the consent agenda is concluded. Now let's move on to expedited resolutions, please.
Mr. President, we have one expedited resolution for consideration. That is resolution number 2014-01, 2013-R87 to determine that certain positions should not be subject to the prohibitions imposed by City Code Section 2-1119 on the inclusion of questions pertaining to the applicant's criminal conviction history on initial applications for city employment. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of that paper. Dr. Newbill, will you make that motion?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Dr. Newbill's motion for expedited consideration of resolution number 2013-R87. Mr. Beliles? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
The paper is before you.
Very good. At this point, we're going to have a public hearing on this paper. Are those that wish to speak in opposition? Seeing none, are those that wish to speak in favor? Mr. Persinger.
Silver Persinger, citizen of Richmond, Virginia. Mr. President, is this paper related to the one that just passed?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Actually, all those people should have stayed and spoken in support of this one as well.
Well, that's why I did it right after.
But I'd like to express my support for this paper. I think a lot of people are in jail that don't belong in jail. I think jail and prisons should be reserved for only the worst people in our society. We put a lot of people in jail who use drugs. I don't think people who use drugs should be in jail. I myself was a marijuana smoker for 16 years. I stopped smoking in January, and I don't think there's anything wrong with smoking marijuana, but I've stopped, and now I can talk about how I don't smoke marijuana anymore, but I enjoyed it very much. It didn't make me a bad person. It just made me be a criminal. And I never felt like a criminal while I was smoking marijuana. But, we have the highest incarceration rate in the world in this country. And a lot of these people are in jail for using illegal drugs. They don't belong there. And, felons do deserve a second chance in this society. We're supposed to be a Christian nation. And one of the hallmarks of Christianity is forgiveness. And by forgiving people, you give them a second chance. So thank you for the opportunity to comment, and I support this paper, and I'm sure all you will too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to council for discussion. Seeing none, please call the question, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on resolution number 2013-R87. Mr. Beliles? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to do the citizen comment period, please.
Yes. The first citizen speaker is W.B. Braxton Banto. And two.
Good evening, distinguished members of Richmond City Council and good audience and early Easter one. I am W.B. Braxton Bantu, a.k.a. Scout Leader Bat. I chose that colorful epithet to write under and champion the poor's cause for social justice. When shelter guests are turned out or away from a life-sustaining shelter, they are coerced by the element to scout out some place for a night's rest and deprived sleep. I chose the bat as my mascot that represents both Halloween, a night originally set aside to bring attention to something wicked, and a real-to-life horror movie, probably a stormy, thundering Gothic one. The former shelter guests or street residents is no doubt cold, hungry, broke, and lonely. It is a man-made purgatory, including our ailing economy and vile politics. I wish to give thanks to City Council of 2012, whose roll call included 2 dominant City Council members, Councilman Doug Connor and E.M. Jewell. They voted with their comrades, resolution number 2012 R119. Mr. Jewell to support a policy whereby the cold temperature overflow shelter is kept open, available to receive referrals of homeless persons for the outdoor or wind chill temperatures to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below. I just held the Education and Human Services Standing Committee meeting agenda. That was Wednesday, September 19, 2012. I wish to speak the words of thank you as an adamant advocate and grim guardian of the poor that I have become. I had planned to campaign for the inclement weather to be added.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Very well. When a new development came into existence. I shall leave this here to be distributed. I may not have enough, but basically the notice of change reads, effective February 1, all clients will be required to have a referral to enter the cold temperature or weather overflow shelter located at 6 Mount Zion. In order to receive a referral to any shelter, you must sign in with homeless point of entry for intake and assessment.
Your time is up.
All right, I plan to come back to continue this. Needs to be changed, and I will leave copies for each of you to examine. And this was a successful part that came out last year that more people did get in. And I shall be signing up when I'm allowed to continue speaking on the issue about rescinding the policy or tribulation policy. Thank you for hearing me now, and I look forward to speaking when
Thank you, Mr. Banta. I really appreciate it.
See the second floor chamber. Thank you, and have a blessed day, and enjoy Easter weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, may I please have the next speaker?
Yes, the next speaker is Eric Anderson.
Mr. Anderson?
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. It's been a long time since I've been down at a council meeting, and I called the clerk's office, I have to admit, in a fit of anger to register. It's a shame, and I really am perplexed. You all travel the streets of Richmond every day. The potholes that are in our city it's embarrassing. And how you all allow the administration to get away with this, I just don't know. It seems to me, I don't know if the city has stock in front-end alignment companies or rim companies, because it's not a street in the city of Richmond that you can't travel down that you don't see potholes. And I just don't see how you all don't see them, because I have to experience them every day. And how somebody doesn't say to the mayor or to the city manager, fix it. Now, there's certain things I've just resigned myself in the city of Richmond that I'm going to have to accept. I'm going to have to accept a school system that I think is just terrible. I have to resign myself to the fact we built a jail that's smaller than the jail we got, that we give deals to billion-dollar companies. But as a taxpayer, and I'd like to believe that most taxpayers will agree with me, if you don't do the big things, can we at least get our streets paved? Can we at least get our sidewalks repaired? Who do you have to talk to get this stuff done? Then the other thing that gets me when it comes to street repair, Mr. President, I have to ask, does Public Works and Public Utilities have their each phone number? Because the few streets that you do pave, the very next week, utilities will come and dig it up. And then they do a piss poor job of patching the street. Now, like I said, there are a few of us out here, we just resign ourselves to the fact that just certain things, certain monies are going to be spent on whatever. That's fine. I can live with that. At the very least, can I get my street paved? What I'm hoping I can encourage all citizens of the city of Richmond to do is take your cell phone and take
You have 30 seconds. Please begin
of your
to summarize.
favorite pothole and send it to your council person. Name your pothole, because there's so many out there. But the one thing I will compliment the city on, I thought it was just downtown. I thought it was just the East End. But recently I had an occasion to go down Carey Street through Windsor Farms. And Mr. Blouses, they treat your district just as worse as they do mine. So the one thing I can compliment the city on is it's universal.
Your
Rich white
time
folks
is
in
up.
Windsor Farms get the same treatment that we do. So I at least compliment you on being equal opportunity when it comes to the potholes. But I would hope, as you all travel the city of Richmond, as council people, call the administration and say, fix it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. Next speaker, Ms. Clerk.
The next speaker is Keona Gilliam. Keona Gilliam.
Next speaker, Ms. Clerk.
Roderick Bullock. Roderick
I think
Bullock.
he's still here. Next speaker, Ms. Clerk.
Alicia Venable. Alicia Venable.
Next speaker, Ms. Clerk, please.
Mary Jane Ho.
I know she's here. Good evening, Ms. Hogue.
Good evening. My name is Mary Jane Hogue with the Historic Richmond Foundation. And given the serious life issues we've heard here tonight, forgive me for promoting something that I won't pretend equals obstacles some face on a daily basis. The year of 2013 has been named by Governor McDonnell and his wife Maureen the year of the Virginia Historic Home. The First Lady of Virginia has created a Virginia Time Traveler program as a project to promote Virginia's History Initiative, putting our history to work in Virginia, along with celebrating the idea of the history of so many homes. She and the governor are promoting and encouraging all Virginians to explore its historic homes and the stories of the people that live in them. This past weekend, many homes in Richmond were open to celebrate Mrs. McDonnell's initiative. Richmond is most fortunate to have such unparalleled architectural history, including individual homes, commercial buildings, old and historic neighborhoods across our city. According to the State Historic Preservation Office, these homes are resources among Richmond's most important assets, including being an economic benefit to our city. Richmond has a city full of buildings with distinctive features, details, finishes, old distinctive construction that many only could wish for in their cities. Many come to our cities to study Bottomley, Duncan Lee, Pope, Charles Robinson, and even contemporary architects try to emulate them. The governor's office is pleased to celebrate both our state and our city's beautiful buildings and neighborhood. Richmond in particular is one of our state's oldest cities. The governor's mansion is celebrating its 200th anniversary this year. Mrs. McDonnell is using its birthday to be a vision for her temporary home and to highlight many older buildings who want to protect their distinctive architectural details and fabric to treasure for our next generation in our city. Capitol Square has not always received tender, loving care, but over the years, the ladies of the governor's mansion have propelled care in that area. Our city leaders had the same vision in 1956 when we became the second city in Virginia to create old and historic districts to encourage preserving begin homes. to summarize. James Spader, an actor in the Lincoln's movie, said, "People from afar recognize Richmond's architectural treasures more than we seem to every day." Please join Maureen McDonnell at St. Catherine's tomorrow so she can talk more about preserving our architectural treasures. And thank you to our city leaders who gave us the opportunity when they made tools to celebrate other homes' birthdays in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hogue.
Mr. President, those are all of the citizen speakers for this evening.
Wonderful. That being the case, I believe our next item of business would be approval of the minutes.
The minutes to be approved are from the March 11, 2013 informal meeting, the March 11, 2013 formal meeting, and the March 12, 2013 mayor's budget presentation. Councilmember Graziano, will you make that motion?
So moved.
Council is voting on Councilmember Graziano's motion to approve the minutes as presented. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Aguilesto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Dr. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those minutes have been approved.
Thank you very much. I believe the only thing we have left, unless I'm forgetting something, is reports and announcements. Dr. Newbill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just simply like to express some sincere thanks and appreciation to several folks in my district. I'd like to start with this past Sunday. The second annual 5K Hilltopper was held, and about twice as many people as last year came out to support the event that will benefit, the proceeds go to benefit the Robinson Theater, where we have a variety of cultural and other events occurring on a daily basis. And so I'd like to thank David Conmee and other members of the Churchill North Civic Association, as well as members of a variety of other associations throughout our district and volunteers for making that event an absolute success this past Sunday. I'd like to also recognize that on Saturday we held, and this has been my third year of participating in the Irish Parade in Churchill, and it was really quite wonderful. And I'd like to thank Ms. Flanagan, who's been a part of coordinating that event for at least the last 8 years. And the event was an absolute success, both the parade and the festivities afterwards. And then lastly, I'd like to thank members of the district who came out to the 7th District community meeting held on March 21st. To meet our new chief of police, as well as to hear from our fire marshal and from our Department of Public Utilities regarding rate increases and our budget process, et cetera. So just again would like to express sincere thanks and appreciation to all who came out to support the events over the weekend and attend the last district meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbill. Ms. Trammell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, March the 26th at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., I will be holding an 8th District meeting at Southside Plaza Social Service Building. The new police chief will be there, also the captains and I think code enforcement and some others will be there to talk about issues in the 8th District. Again, that is tomorrow night, Tuesday, March the 26th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and everyone is welcome to attend. Also, March the 18th, we had our public safety meeting, and I'd like to thank all my colleagues that attended, and I'd like to thank Parker for the great discussion that we had in reference to the parking near the curb from 12 inches to 18 inches. I think we had said feet, but it's like inches. And also, it was a great discussion, and I'd like to thank my colleagues for helping me with that. And also, we had a discussion about bicycles being tied up to city-owned property, and I'd like to thank my colleague Chris for bringing some issues out in reference to that. And I'd like to thank Steve Taylor and Faye Smith for helping me with our public safety meeting. And our next public safety meeting will be April the 15th. That's on Monday, April the 15th at the Police Academy. And we will be discussing numbers on houses because we keep getting so much information from the police, the fire, and EMS that they have a hard time finding the properties because they're not, the addresses aren't posted. And it's not only on homes, it's also on city-owned businesses. So we need to take a look at that. This right here is your free smoke alarm. If you call 646-1526, that's 646-1526, the firefighters will come to your house and they will install the smoke alarm. And smoke alarms do save your life, and they save your home and they save your pets. So please, please call this number so you can get a free smoke alarm, because right now it is about the only thing that's free in the city. Also, if you don't want to call that number, you can go to your nearest fire station, talk to the firefighters. They will set up an appointment on your terms and come to your home or your apartment or to your business and make sure that you have a working smoke alarm. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Trammell. Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last Wednesday, the Education and Human Services Standing Committee of Council met, and we had a discussion on interventions to address unexcused absences at Richmond Public Schools, a truancy issue. We looked at the current process as well as various interventions that are used by other jurisdictions, and we hope to tighten up this process to the extent that it can be legally. We need to hold our students and parents in the city responsible for this. If a child doesn't graduate from high school, it's very difficult for them to succeed in life. So we want to make sure that we're doing all that we can to promote individuals getting their high school diploma. We also had a discussion on improving computer access for Richmond Public School students, and should have more detail on that next month, how we can increase that computer access. Excuse me. We have a district meeting this Wednesday, March the 27th at 6 o'clock at Pine Camp at 4901 Old Brook Road. That is adjacent to Henderson Middle School. On the agenda will be Council President Charles Samuels, who will come out, and thank you, Mr. Samuels, for agreeing to do that. We'll also have our new Police Chief, Ray Tarasovic. We'll have a presentation by Chris Beschler, the Deputy Administrative Officer for Operations, talk about the new water structure. We'll have information on the real estate tax abatements and assistance that are available to seniors and persons with disabilities. Those applications are due April the 1st, so this will be timely to get those in. And finally, we will review the government review process. That's an ambitious agenda, but we hope to get through it. In the interest of keeping time short, I didn't add these comments when we were talking about Ban the Box, but I'd like to take the opportunity now to thank my colleague, Ms. Michelle Mosby, for your leadership on that issue. It was tremendously important, and you really took the issue to heart and convinced a lot of people that it was the right thing to do. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hilbert. Mr. Agelasto.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's amazing how I think the last council meeting I segued right out of Chris's comments, and I'm doing it again. Particular thanks to Councilwoman Mosby for the Ban the Box ordinance, and to our colleagues here at Council for passing it, and for the many, many people who came to speak before this body, and for us extending the time for them to have their voices heard is essential to the process. And so I again thank everybody for coming and speaking, and again to Michelle Mosby. It's important to get involved, and I think this was one ordinance where many people did get involved. But with that said, I want to encourage everybody in the 5th District to get involved locally. Over the next week, we've got a number of meetings in different neighborhoods, and I want to just go through those civic association meetings and encourage anybody in the neighborhoods to please attend. First is tomorrow night, the Oregon Hill Neighborhood Association meets at 7 p.m. at the William Byrd Community House at 224 South Cherry Street. Also tomorrow evening is the Robinson Street Association, which will be meeting at 6 p.m. at Retreat Hospital for those who live in the Robin Street area, as well as business owners. Then on Thursday of this week at 8:30 a.m., we will be continuing the Storefront for Community Design conversations for the Spring Hill neighborhood. That conversation, again, is at 8:30 a.m. this Thursday, March 28th, at the Storefront for Community Design offices, and I encourage anybody in Spring Hill who hasn't been able to participate in the community conversations to please come out. We also have on Saturday It is Easter season, Holy Week, and so Maymont is holding the Family Easter program from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. I'm hoping for good weather, so I encourage anybody with young children to come out. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good cause to support Maymont. Then on April the 1st, the Hull Street Midlothian Civic Association will be meeting at 7 p.m. at Koinonia Independent Christian Church, located at 3600 McRand Street. Then Tuesday, April the 2nd, is the Uptown Civic Association meeting at 6 p.m. at the Alliance Group, 2201 West Main Street. And also on Tuesday, April the 2nd, is the Randolph Community Group meeting at 6 p.m. at the Randolph Community Center. So as you can hear, all in about 1 week's time, most of our neighborhoods meet, and I highly encourage everybody to participate in those conversations and get involved. A couple other announcements. As always, you can get more information through Facebook or Twitter, or join our email newsletter, or contact me directly at 646-6050, or the 5th District Liaison, Ida Jones, at 646-5724. And again, happy Easter to all.
Thank you, Mr. Agelasto. Mr. Blas.
We're having a 2-for-1 civic night tomorrow night in the 1st District. I'll be holding a town hall meeting at 6 o'clock at Albert Hill Middle School, 3400 Patterson Avenue, from 6 to 7:30, followed by a meeting with Glenn Sturdivant and Kim Gray of the 1st and 2nd District School Board. Their meeting will be taking place at Thomas Jefferson High School at 7:30 tomorrow night. And also, a little further on the radar, there is a spring auction at Mary Munford Elementary School on Saturday, April 13th. If you want any information, you can go to my website, johnbalaus.com. Thanks.
Ms. Graziano. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. I just want to say the April Finance meeting on April 18th will be at 2 o'clock as opposed to 3 o'clock. Trailer Estates annual meeting is tomorrow night at 7:30 at St. Michael's. My quarterly president's meeting with the presidents of the civic associations will be on April 4th at 7 o'clock. I would like to also say Happy Easter, and I would also like to thank Michelle for bringing forward an issue that should have been done years ago. Thanks, and I hope other localities will follow our lead.
Thank you, Ms. Graziano. Ms. Mosby.
I first would like to thank all the constituents that came out to the community meeting that we had on March 21st. I'd like to thank the 2nd and 3rd precincts for their updates, and I'd like to thank our staff and Vincent for coming and sharing about the budget. And I'd love to thank the 9th District schools that stay open past the hours so that I can hold the meetings there. And my 9th District school board person, because she keeps our constituents informed, and I thank her because she comes to each one of those meetings. And last but not least, my liaison, because he helps keep me together. I'd like to thank my colleagues for assisting me with my first piece of legislation. It is near and dear to my heart, and all of you all took it like it was near to your heart too, and I really, really appreciate it. I couldn't have done it without y'all, so I thank you very much. Y'all made it very easy for me to pass this, and I really, really appreciate it. On April 1st, we will have our Easter egg hunt at 5263 Warwick Road, so I'm asking our constituents to come out to that, and thank y'all again. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Mosby. Vice President Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me just first of all say as well to Councilwoman Mosby, thank you for ban the box legislation and inviting all of us to be a part of such a significant piece of legislation. And may I also say that we look forward to continue to work with you as we explore additional opportunities to be responsive to many of the suggestions and recommendations that was made to us tonight. Thank you for your leadership. And I must say I regret the fact that this is not something that we have done before now. But what's more important is that it is done and that we move forward. So thank you very, very much for that. It's been a pleasure working with you. I also would like to announce we had a meeting last week, Wednesday, which I think was the 20th of March, where there was a follow-up presentation made on the specific priorities and strategies for the Anti-Poverty Commission, which is moving along very well. We are in the process of also beginning to receive names and recommendations for persons to serve on the Citizen Advisory Board. So I would strongly encourage all of my colleagues that if there are persons that you think would be interested in serving on the Citizen Advisory Board, if you would get those names to us. We will probably have more persons interested than we would probably have slots for the advisory board. We plan to have an orientation meeting and give people an opportunity to understand what the commission is all about, its mission, its goals, and where it's going, and put that board in place as soon as possible. One of the commitments that the commission has made is that they would like to see that board be not less than 50% of the representatives on the board persons of poverty. So I would appreciate any recommendations that you all may have from that or to serve on that board. Likewise, we've had our first meeting with staff members and a consultant that has quite a bit of experience with working with affordable housing. We have tentatively set a date for the first meeting of the Affordable Housing Advisory Board that has been trying to meet now for probably 2 years or more. We have a tentative date of April the 25th, and so we will keep you abreast as to where we're going with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and any recommendations or particular strategies that any of the council members would like to see taken into consideration. I would appreciate that feedback as well. We will be having our regular 6th District community meeting, the second Saturday of April. It will be at the Bellmead Community School. There will be a tour of the school. There will also be people in celebration of Affordable Housing Month that will be there from the Realtor's office to talk with us regarding properties within those communities and how we can transform those properties that have code violations and blighted properties and potential housing opportunities, either for rent and for home ownership. So we want to encourage the residents to come out to that meeting, which will be the second Saturday in April. Likewise, the Bellmead Community Center will be having its grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony on April the 27th at 10 o'clock, and that is right there across the street from where the new Oak Grove Bellmead School is. So the grand opening will be on the 27th of April at 10. I hope everyone can come out. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. I'm going to try to be brief on this. Tomorrow, March 26th, the Robinson Street Association will meet at Retreat Hospital at 6 p.m. On March 27th, the new Interbake groundbreaking will occur at 2 p.m. The mayor and other dignitaries will be there. This is a plan at the FFV building to refurnish and rebuild 180 new apartments. That's at 900 Terminal Place. I was actually hoping to go, but the audit committee meeting is also at 2 o'clock. I think my constituents would probably prefer me working than ribbon cutting. Sunday, March 31st, is the annual Easter Parade. I believe last year we had over 30,000 people come out for that. I encourage you to come out. I'll be judging the Pet Bonnet Contest from 1:30 to 3 p.m. On Monday, April 1st, the Fan District Association meets at 208 North Strawberry Street. That's at 7 p.m. On April 1st, the West Gray Street Association meets at Orchid House on West Gray Street and Allen Avenue. That's at 6:30 p.m. Monday, April 1st, the Monument Avenue Preservation Society meets at 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 3rd, the Scotts Addition Business Association meets at 8:30 a.m. And lastly, please note that Sunday, April 21st, Rosedale's annual spring garden tour begins at 2 p.m. It's a self-guided tour, and I hope folks will go out and enjoy that little slice of heaven in North Richmond. Finally, please mark your calendar for the 2nd District Quarterly Meeting on Thursday, May 16th at the United Methodist Family Services, 3900 West Broad Street, and that event will occur at 5:30 p.m. Dr. Newbill.
Thank you, Mr. President. In my attempt to be brief initially, I did overlook a couple of items. I would like to just say to the citizenry that Governmental Operations Committee meeting of City Council will be held this Thursday, the 28th at 5 p.m. here in City Hall, second floor, large conference room. And so would just extend an invitation for citizens to come out and be a part of that deliberation. I equally would like to express sincere thanks to my colleague, Ms. Mosby, for her, I won't say, but maybe I will say tenacity in bringing forth the legislation that we had now referred to as Ban the Box. That was made a part of our offerings here this evening, and really do want to thank you for all of your efforts in that regard, and thank all of the citizens who came out to speak to the matter in quite a compelling way that none of us would be able to miss the impact and the importance of the legislation in the lives of citizens. So I really do want to express thanks as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbill. One other thing, just so everyone's aware, next Monday is our organizational development. There's also going to be a special meeting of City Council to consider one paper. It's, I believe, paper 8 in what we're about to have introduced, and I'm sure folks in the administration will be getting with each of you between now and then to discuss that. Having said all of that, Madam Clerk, would you please read the introduction of new papers?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2013-72, to amend ordinance number 2009-1653, adopted April 13th, 2009, which authorizes the special use of the property known as 1415 Chamberlain Parkway for multifamily residential and student housing uses, to authorize additional signage upon certain terms and conditions. City Planning Commission, April 15th. Council public hearing, April 22nd. Ordinance number 2013-73, to amend ordinance number 2008-162-165, adopted July 14th, 2008, which authorized the special use of the property known as 1700 Summit Avenue for the purpose of converting the existing building for use as up to 89 multifamily dwelling units, for the purpose of instead authorizing up to 42 multifamily dwelling units and uses permitted in the B7 Mixed-Use Business District upon certain terms and conditions. Planning Commission, April 15th, 2013. Council public hearing, April 22nd, 2013. Ordinance number 2013-74, to authorize the special use of the property known as 8 and 10 North Robinson Street for the purpose of authorizing the existing buildings for office, retail, and personal service uses upon certain terms and conditions. Planning Commission, April 15th. Council public hearing, April 22nd, 2013. Ordinance number 2013-75, to amend ordinance number 2011-2032, adopted March 14, 2011, which authorized the special use of the property known as 310 North 33rd Street for the purpose of the conversion of the existing building to a multifamily dwelling with up to 50 units, to additionally authorize principal commercial uses permitted on corner lots in the R-63 multifamily urban residential district on the property upon certain terms and conditions. Planning Commission, April 15th. Council public hearing, April 22nd, 2013. Ordinance number 2013-76, to declare a public necessity for and to authorize the acquisition of the parcels of real property owned by the Richmond Metropolitan Authority and known as 7 South Crenshaw Avenue and 16 South Colonial Avenue for the purpose of public parking, Governmental Operations Standing Committee, March 28, 2013. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Ordinance number 2013-77, to authorize the CAO for and on behalf of the City of Richmond to execute a lease of real property by the City of Richmond between the City of Richmond as lessee and the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority as lessor, for the purpose of allowing the city to use approximately 18,500 square feet on the 8th floor of the property, known as 730 East Broad Street, as temporary office space. Committee has been waived. Council public hearing special meeting, April 1, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R89, to appoint Kevin J. Funk as a member of the Audit Committee, lawyer representative, for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating April 8, 2016. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R90, to appoint Christopher J. Cantanzaro as a member of the Urban Forestry Commission, succeeding Luigi Mignardi for a term commencing April 12, 2013 and terminating April 12, 2016. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R91, to appoint Janine Lester as a member of the Urban Forestry Commission Certified Arborist, succeeding Joel A. Cochi for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating April 8, 2016. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R92, to appoint Kevin A. White as a member of the Central Virginia Waste Management Authority alternate for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating April 8, 2017. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R93, to appoint James T. Hatcher III as a member of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Tax Task Force for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating upon the completion of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Task Force's duties. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R94, to appoint Thomas N. Inns as a member of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Task Force for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating upon the completion of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Task Force's duties. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. To resolution number 2013 R95, to appoint D. Callaway Whitehead III as a member of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Task Force for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating upon the completion of the Business, Professional, and Occupational License Task Force's duties. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R96, to appoint Charles C. James as a member of the Minority Business, Enterprise, and Emerging Small Business Advisory Board, lender representative, for a term commencing upon adoption of this resolution and terminating April 8, 2016. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R97, to remove Linda G. Brody Myers as a director of the Richmond Transit Company, to nominate George P. Braxton as a director of the Greater Richmond Transit Company to fill the vacancy occasioned by the removal of Linda G. Brody Myers, and to request the Board of Directors of the Greater Richmond Transit Company to take action in accordance with its bylaws as may be necessary to elect George P. Braxton as a director of the Greater Richmond Transit Company for a term commencing upon his election as a director and expiring on the date of the 2013 annual meeting of the shareholders of the Greater Richmond Transit Company. Council public hearing, April 8, 2013. Resolution number 2013 R98, to adopt the City of Richmond's Emergency Operations Plan in accordance with Commonwealth of Virginia Emergency Services and District Laws of 2000. Public Safety Standing Committee, April 15, 2013. Council public hearing, April 22, 2013. This concludes the new legislation.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Provided there are no other comments by council members, this meeting is adjourned.
Okay, a little longer this week, 2 hours and about 35 minutes. We got started at 6:02. One thing with the new president, Charles Samuels, he makes sure meetings get started on time or as close to time as possible. 6:02, then we got to the appointments. And after that, only one appointment tonight. Then the awards. Excuse me, got all choked up there. The awards and presentations. That's, I guess, because one of those awards I got tonight for 25 years of being your host on Gavel to Gavel. I thank the City Council for that honor. Let's see, we got to the agenda review about 6:30. Then 5 minutes later, we got to the consent agenda. Now, normally, that would just kind of zip on through, but there was one paper that had over 30 speakers in favor. This is in favor of the ban the box. Now, this prohibits the inclusion of questions pertaining to an applicant's criminal history on initial applications for city employment. We had over 30 speakers speaking on that one particular paper, even though they all knew it was going to go through because it was on consent agenda. They have the right to speak. They exercise that right. 1 hour and 15 minutes later, it was approved by a 9-0 vote. Then we got to expedited consideration papers, citizens' comment, approval of minutes, reports from council. New papers were introduced, and that's it for tonight. So, again, I thank the City Council for the award tonight for 25 years. And thank you out there for putting up with me for 25 years. Let's hope it goes another 25. So we'll look forward to seeing you next time on the 8th of April. For Gavel to Gavel, I'm Jake Harmon. Good night.